here.
I cannot see that this is a responsibility of the Minister.
And I've
Order.
seen.
Question number 6. Order. Question number 6. Eugenie Sage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Conservation and asks, does he stand by his statement, "No, I did not," when asked in this House whether he gave any indication to the Department of Conservation on the direction or content of its submission on the Tukituki Catchment Proposal?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, yes, and I'm sorry to bore the House by again repeating the statement by the Deputy Director-General of Conservation, Doris Johnson, who said, and I quote, "The Minister did not play any role in my decision-making. He gave no direction. He never told me his view," close quote.
Supplementary question, Eugenie Sage.
How does the Minister reconcile the statement that he didn't provide any indication with the fact that a DOC staff member sent an internal email stating that staff could not provide much comment at a forthcoming meeting on the Ruataniwha scheme because, quote, "we will still be waiting for guidance from our Minister," end quote?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the record is quite clear that I did seek a copy of the Department's submission before it was made to the Board of Inquiry. It's also very clear, if you look at the hundreds of pages that have been released to the Green parties and others, that on the Friday prior to my meeting, the recommendation from the Department was a neutral submission, i.e. before the Department even met with me, there was a departmental senior official recommending a neutral submission.
Point of order, Eugenie Sage.
I seek leave to table an email from a Department of Conservation staff member to Doris Johnson which says DOC staff were waiting for guidance from their Minister.
Order. Leave sought to table this particular email. Is there any objection to being... Order. I'm putting the leave to the House. The leave can decide whether they want it tabled or not. Leave sought to table that email. Is there any objection? None. It can be tabled.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Eugenie Sage.
Well, does he still stand by his statement that he didn't provide guidance when that is what DOC staff said they were waiting for, and 2 days after he met with senior management, DOC's substantive submission, which they had spent over 3 months preparing, was suppressed?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the member is being very selective in the documents that she is quoting, because on the Friday prior to the meeting with my department, when DOC officials met with NIWA and met with the Regional Council, after that meeting, DOC officials decided they would lodge a neutral submission. The only direction I gave to the department was that I wanted to see a copy of the final submission before it was lodged, and that was received by me, and that was the submission that was lodged.
Supplementary question, Eugenie Sage.
Isn't the Minister trying to cover up the fact that he influenced his department not to submit on the largest irrigation dam scheme in New Zealand, despite the impact that scheme would have on water quality and native fish in the Tukituki catchment?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, I don't think the words of Doris Johnson can be clearer. She said she made the decision. She said she didn't know what my view was. She said that I gave no direction. The only way the member's claims can be correct is for a senior public servant appointed by the previous government to be not telling the truth.
Supplementary question, Honourable Ruth Dyson.
How can he say that he exercised no influence over DOC's decision to withdraw their substantial submission, querying the model allowing nitrates to allow the Tukituki River to be toxic and cause ecosystem collapse, when an email from his office at 8:46 a.m, Tuesday 30th of July says, quote, "The Minister would like to see the DOC submission, together with a short note justifying it prior to the submission being lodged."
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, a minister asking the department to provide him with a copy of a submission before a board of inquiry and an explanation of why is absolutely proper. And I'd love to show the member the hundreds of pages of submissions that were approved by previous ministers under the Labor government on equivalent boards of inquiry.
Point of order, the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table advice from the Ministry of Labour which indicates that there were more deaths under the previous Labor government in forestry.
Order.
That there were 7 more deaths.
Order. Leave us sought to table that particular document. Is there any objection? Is there any objection to it being tabled? There appears to be none. It can be tabled. Point of order.
Mr Speaker, I wonder whether I could ask you to reflect on the fact that sometimes on this side of the House we have been making the point that we can't rely on the numbers that are presented by opposition members. It's point of order, actually. Thanks very much.
Order. Order.
Mr Speaker.
It is raised as a point of order. The Prime Minister has asked me to reflect on something. I've given him the chance to make a statement, and please allow him to do so. Prime Minister.
So, Mr Speaker, I wonder whether I could ask you to go away and reflect on that, because members on the side of the House have from time to time been pulled up because they challenge the validity of the numbers that are raised, and in recent occasions, this is I think the second or third question time in recent times, that the Leader of the Opposition has actually either deliberately or otherwise misled the House.
And I get the point the Prime Minister is making. I will reflect on it. I think it's substantially the point I've been making throughout this question time. It is a political debating chamber. People are going to level figures that can at all times be disputed. But I will reflect on the matter for the Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, point of order.
Point of order, the Honourable David
Mr Speaker, in reflecting upon that matter as requested by the Prime Minister, and given the Prime Minister's statement that in the 9 years of the Labor government, according to his information, which may differ from ours, there were 7 more deaths than he has admitted occurred under his government in 5 years, would you turn your mind to the veracity of the point, sir, that the rate of deaths under the current government is much higher than under the previous one?
Order. Now, I will certainly consider both the points that have been raised, but whether I get to the stage of turning my mind to the figures that are being advanced by effectively one side or the other is probably something that's unnecessary in my ruling. I will reflect on the point the Prime Minister's made. Order. The information will now be available because it has been tabled. Question number 7, Paul Fosterbell.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Sir, my question is to the Minister of Transport.